All right, recording.
How you doing, everyone? This is Derek and Lexi. I'm the owner of Northeast Contracting. I do several inspections. We're here in Cumberland on Edith Street. And a customer called me because they found some damages to their house and they wanted me to take a look at it. So I've been training Lexi to do inspections with me, and she's been doing a good job. We've been training her to sniff out wood-destroying insects and pests. And it hasn't been easy, but as you can tell, she's very well trained, and she's the smartest dog I've ever met, and smarter than several human beings. So we're gonna walk around, and she's gonna get a little test, right? Good girl. And we're gonna see how she does. You get a treat for that. Good girl. So that's how, the way to her heart, and the easiest way to teach her is with food. All right, so here's the house. As you can tell, it's there's two houses on one lot, and this is just a little cottage in the back. And you can see they had some problems with the roof, and the soffit right there is coming down. So, and I could just tell by the lines on the house that the water is getting behind the siding and causing the damages. So I'm gonna go around and see how Lexi does. Come on. Walking. So as you can see, there's some mold right up there, and these are the lines I'm talking about. So all the siding has, holes in it. See, Lexi's starting to do her job. The siding has holes in it, so that's why you can see that water has been running down behind the siding. And there's a big bow in the wall right here, so I could tell that this could be a problem area. And before I rip it apart, I'm just gonna come on. What's that? See anything? What's up? So the training has been a little bit difficult. I know that there's a problem under here. I've seen it, and right now we're still in the training phase, so she hasn't fully told me yet, and that's why I'm trying to teach her. So she's looking to be rewarded, because she's touching it with her feet, and she's like, okay, I gotta tell Daddy if I want the reward. So she, as you can tell right now, she smells it. She smells that there's some mold and some termites, and she's just trying to come back to me because she's too excited about the food. Good job, good job, good job, good job. Okay. So, I use a multi-tool, and I just poke around, and what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to take out a piece of siding to find some more issues.
Recording, go.
All right, so we took off some vinyl siding, and I was surprised as to how bad this really was. And the reason that Lexi, it seems to have taken her a little bit longer is because, we haven't found any live infestation yet, but there is some mold. Stay. So now she wants to start working again. But there is some mold, and as you could tell, the bugs in the rot have done a number on this house frame. So this is the sill plate of the house, and this is just my knife, and it's just crumbling to pieces. So now, the wood destroying insects and the mold and the rot definitely leaves a scent behind, and that's what Lexi was finding. But what we're gonna have to do, I'm guessing this runs all the way down. So we've been giving the okay on pulling back the siding on the house and giving this a proper diagnosis. I just want to make it clear that a formal inspector, just doing a basic home inspection, wouldn't actually pull siding off. But we're gonna remove some. It comes off very easily because it's rotted, and see how bad the rot is. So there's a crawl space back here, and pretty substantial damage. And this right here is a weight-bearing wall. So definitely need to correct it. And if you can see, that black substance right there is mold. So mold has definitely started to build up. For anybody that doesn't know, mold can be very toxic to your health. We are outside and we're just doing this quickly, so once we start working, I will put a mask on. So I'm not gonna go down too far because we can assume that the mold just goes, the mold and rock goes all the way down. So the termites or carpenter ants, whatever they were, I can't tell at this moment because I don't see any live ones, but between that and the water problem, they've really done a number on this. So, again, we're looking right there and the water is getting behind. You can see how the icicles are dripping down. The water is getting behind the fascia and into the soffit, which then runs into the siding. Several things that we would do differently. We would never have J-channel extend past any of the windows or the gable ends, because what that does is it allows water to penetrate. Also, if you look up at the roof, that right there is just basic drip edge. That's not what I would have used for an EDPM rubber roof. So we're gonna have to correct that. And earlier I was looking up there on top of the hill and I could see that one of the seams was peeling up. So that's gonna need to be repaired in order to, make sure that this doesn't happen again. Okay. So now we're going to walk around and check out the rest of the exterior. Okay, so we have some foundation repairs to do. The foundation is crumbling. All right, so what I was noticing was this area. This area, sprung some attention when I saw that there was no insulation. Come here, Lexi, come to work. I'm gonna crawl up under here, and I'm noticing that, I'm noticing that there is an infestation of termites up here as well. You smell that? You smell that? Yeah. Good girl, good girl, good girl. You smell that? So as you can see, look at these rotted floor joists. Now this is the interior of the house right here. Oh, good girl. So this actually connects into the deck. Now when I look at this, I see that the deck joists are actually pulling away and sagging because there's no structural stability to this frame itself. Several things, this 4x4 is installed wrong. This is actually fairly easy for me to correct, but it is quite dangerous to leave it as is because the snow load on the roof could be quite substantial and this could collapse. So we're going to correct that, make note of it, and continue walking around and check the rest of the house. Spaces, two basement locations that aren't crawl spaces. The front of the house is a crawl space, but we're going to go down here, and I know that we're going to find some problems. I could tell when I walk around the house and on the interior and feel the unevenness and flexibility of the floors. So I'm going to grab the light and take a look. So first thing I noticed is a heater. I could tell that it probably lacks heat when it gets cold down here because of limited insulation. But, oh geez, the first thing that I'm noticing back here is, it looks like a piece of wood fell down. It's an insulation. And this is the area. This looks like, if I was inside the house, the laundry room. Now I felt some severe rot in the laundry room when I was walking on the floor. And look at this, here it is. So it looks like at one point they had just some leaking that just really caused a lot of damage to the structure and sill plate of this house. Look, it's just powder. Wow. Okay, and this is another beam that's rotted. What's great about this is that we have access to it, and structure is something that comes very natural and easy to me with the experience. I do a lot of structural repairs on houses. People get very nervous about sill plate damage and rot. You know, because it's tricky to get everything in, and you know, sometimes people overthink it. And I'll show you what people do. I can see it from back there. This is what contractors do. Because they don't want to disconnect and relocate plumbing, they put 2 pieces of wood, and that is not a good repair because there's no structural stability, and that's why the wood is uneven, because it's sagging. So instead, you do it properly, and you just have to disconnect some drain pipes and water pipes, and it will slide right in there.
No hangers either.
Now, if it doesn't slide in there, what I would do, if it's just completely impossible, is you just build a wall below the furthest point. And there's no reason that you can't have a wall in there. You just put a 2x6 wall up and carry the load from the wall to the floor joist. Very simple. Termites. Yeah, it was a powder post beetles and termites. Started from here. Now this was just buried. Look at this. This was buried in the foundation pour. Somebody formed that incorrectly. So it looks like we're going to have a busy week this week, repairing all these structural problems. We're going to go to the next room and see if there's any major issues in there. Alright, so here's the hot water heater. First thing I notice is the hot water heater has a leak. This, the reason you don't see any water is this corrosion kind of, you know, has calcium and chemical buildup, and it just seals itself. But it definitely has a leak, and we definitely want to correct that. You can see another heater down here. So I'm guessing they have a lot of frozen pipes. You can see there's some rust on the pipes, so it appears that there's just a moist basement. So it's not as bad, but you know, I definitely do see, you know, some damage to some of the structure that needs to be corrected, especially down here. You can see it. And back here looks like the crawl space, and I haven't really looked to see if there's any access that I can fit in. I'm sure there's a window or two, but we'll see.
Where do you think that ground one is running from?
See this? What was the question?
The ground wire? Where do you think that's running?
Oh, the ground wire is running from the water meter, which is right here, Billy.
Okay.
So see this? So the water meter is grounded.
Okay.
And that's pretty standard.
Yep.
It's a good point, though. It's a good question. And if you look too, this has some corrosion on this. It has a secondary shut-off. You know, I always, you know, make sure that people put a secondary shut-off, because if that's your only shut-off and you have a leak, then you call the town. By the time they get there, you have quite a bit of water in the house. So, I mean, you can see, like, you know, stuff that I would, you know, probably sand this and maybe spray it with some Rust-Oleum to prevent future rusting. They have an open junction box. It looks like 220 wire. Actually, it looks like a little bit bigger than that, doesn't it? Yes, it does. You know, maybe there's a sub panel, but we definitely need a cover on that so nobody gets electrocuted. That's not too bad. So you can see there's some more damage.
Yep. There's the base too.
Let's walk around the front. So this side wasn't too bad. I've already taken a look at it. I was up on the roof and didn't see any major problems other than a seam that needs to be repaired, and we already took care of that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just walk on the inside. As you can tell, it's starting to snow. It's getting a little late.
Good.
All right, so prior to going inside, I'm noticing some crumbling on the foundation. Now, you know, being a mason, my cameraman, what would you think that's causing this, Billy?
It's just mostly water damage and oxygen exposure.
So the splashing of the overhang, and
yeah,
it looks like it's been skim coated a few times and probably incorrect, maybe an incorrect mixture.
Yeah.
As we're walking up the stairs, you know, I tripped on it earlier. You see, the stairs, you know, are not framed up to code. There's no balusters. There's no hand railings. This area is where the deck is sagging. Before we even get into the house, I can notice this. Come up close with the camera. And so this is an improperly sealed door that's causing this, see? So look,
Paper now.
look at that. Wow, so just some wall damage. So this door needs to be replaced. This is the area where I crawled in below, and you know, this is where all the termite damage was in the framing. So we're gonna reframe this and insulate it because it's still the inside of the house. We want to keep that, you know, warm air inside the house instead of having it loose to the outside. Well, let's take a look. So we have an old, the house is, it looks like the house is heated by an old gas space heater. Let me turn the light off. Actually, put it in this room. So this is an old gas space heater. You know, I checked the outside for ventilation. It's vented properly. They're not the most efficient forms of heat, but as long as they're safe, that's what we look for. I noticed that in the bathroom there's an electric heater to supplement the lack of heat on that side. So let's take a look over here, because this is the area.
Gingerbread.
This is the area right here that we were looking at. So we started on that end and then we came all the way down. On that end I removed the exterior, and on this end I came in just for, you know, purpose of you know, checking it out, and for the video I removed the inside sheetrock. Now, as you can see, there's no sill plate on the inside, so the 2x4 wall framing just carries right through the floor, and that's like a balloon frame. So that's why we can see the sill plate from the outside. So when I reframe this, I'm gonna frame it much better than that. I'm gonna have a sill plate inside, and I'm gonna put a beam on the outside to properly support the house. Other thing I wanted to point out is that you see where the water's getting in. See this seam right here? It was coming in. You can see all the water damage along the roof. The roof has been replaced by another contractor, and we just repaired a small area where the rubber has released. You know, for rubber releases, it doesn't mean that it wasn't done correctly. The only thing that I saw that wasn't done correctly is that the previous contractor used a drip edge that's for asphalt shingles instead of you know, rubber roofing. But you can see that there's some damage to the windowsill, some rot. So there's quite a bit of work in here. Another thing I wanted to point out that I saw earlier is there's some rot in the floor over here. Now, I'm saying to myself, all right, we're inside the house, what is causing that? So I walked through the bathroom, and traced it back to this area. Now, the closet is on the other side of this. So I started looking around and, you know, realized that this is the area that was really bad in back of the house that you can see is just all rotted. So this is very, this floor is very spongy and loose, and this is where the foundation is, and the sill plate got rotted, and this was an add-on.
Yeah, and it all slopes to that wall.
It does. And then outside this door was, you know, some more rot that I just want to point out. Now, any wood jam just really takes a beating over the years. It doesn't mean that it was installed incorrectly. It's just wood, and if it's not, you know, painted properly, this is what you get. It's just an old wood frame door with some 311 casing on it, and we're going to be replacing the entire door. People always ask, you know, can I just replace the, you know, the jamb? No. You know what? The proper thing to do is just put, you know, like a whole new door in, which comes with a new wood jamb, the trim. See, in the bathroom I can see this piece of trim right here, and what they did was they covered the walls with this plastic junk. Somebody, you know, probably did that before she even bought the house. This is something that like a bath fitters would do and charge you an outrageous price. And I'm sorry, but you know what? I could tile for something similar that they charge to put this on a rotted wall. So, you know, I see all this caulking and I just see a lot of problems. And I'm pretty confident with, you know, experience and knowledge that once I take this off, it's going to expose that, you know, there's problems behind this wall. So I'm gonna peek back here. And see what I see. This is a vinyl board. It's like a piece of AZAC, which usually we use on the outside. It's okay for a bathroom because it doesn't rot. But as you can tell, it's not very secure. And if you look, it has about 3/4 of an inch of nail, no sealant. I would have at least installed it with some silicone. It's just unfortunate that there's a lot of contractors that do work like this, because when I come in to give them a price and I plan on doing it correct, this is my competition right now.
For a $6 tube of silicone.
There's a lack of knowledge of how things should be done. I'm just cutting corners to get jobs done incorrectly. Alright, so alright, I can feel the cold air. So alright. Now the sheetrock, look at this. So they have plastic bags shoved in the wall. That's pretty fantastic. And yeah, this was great. This must have been their insulation. And I don't want to damage the wall, but all behind the tub, the sheetrock's been removed, but all behind the tub I can see that it's already starting to rot. As you can see, the tub is all rusted up. This is all moldy down here at the base. And the cold air is just absolutely substantial. The basement is just releasing so much cold air. And somebody really had the nerve to shove some Walmart bags as insulation. Again, it just...
And that plumbing chase probably goes right to the cellar.
I'm actually speechless as to why somebody could do that. And look, you can see that the water is just making the flooring just come up. See that? It's just rot in the corner. The floor is actually sag right here. You can see the black substance. That's the mold. And so this is such an important thing to fix because it's probably another cause of mold in the basement. So we're gonna definitely take care of that. Is it going?
Yeah, I was recording it.
You are?
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. So Joey, watch. I want you to see this. So
Okay.
what we're doing is, see how the deck is hanging down?
Yes.
All those repairs that we just fixed, that was the reason why. So there was no center support.
Okay.
There's no joist hanger brackets on this. So what we're doing is we're using a regular car jack and we're gonna lift the deck up and jack the deck up so it's even.
And then put some braces.
You see that?
Yep.
See how the joists are almost flush now?
Yep.
Now you always gotta be careful when you jack into. Putting pressure on everything. Yeah, see how much I was hanging down?
Yep.
Yeah. Now it's like perfectly flush.
Alright.
That was all worked out good. Alright. The wall out, and we're working at getting the sill plate cut out now. So there was a bunch of repairs done, and I don't know who did it, but you can see there's the whole wall is seamed. There's a seam right here, and then there's a seam right here. See it? So the wall's been seamed and patched. It looks like they built it with whatever scrap material they had. So I'm gonna show you how bad this just turns into dust by cutting it. So termites just ate their way right through the house. So look at that. Oh, there's actually a live infestation. Look. See them? Look at them.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, wow. Oh, look at them all. They're alive and healthy. See them?
Yeah.
Hey, guys, come here.
Are they alive?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that they could survive in the world.
See them? Yeah. See them? These things, they look like maggots.
Yeah, look harder. Oh, yeah, right there. Yeah. Yeah, that's the little larva, huh? Bastard.
You're always happy in that, man.
All right, so I'm going to explain this to you, John. We're jacking up the house.
Okay.
We're actually not looking to raise it much other than maybe 1/4 of an inch. We're just looking to put the weight on the new wall that we're building. Okay. Now, we're using a car jack, and the reason that you see a lot of these 2x6s kind of crisscrossed is because whenever you're jacking up a house, you now have the house weight on the jack, which is a lot of poundage. And I learned a hard lesson through somebody else when I first started the business, and I watched somebody jack up a house in a crawl space.
Yep.
And I came out of the crawl space. He was working for a friend of mine, and he severed his pinky finger off because the jack kicked out.
Wow.
So he didn't have it properly braced. Now, as you can tell, if you leave the jack nowhere to kick out, like, you could see how it's on wheels.
Yes.
So if, you know, it's braced on the both foundation walls and it's braced this way, it's not going to kick out, you know?
Okay.
And what I do is I just put one screw in so it can kind of pivot, you know, so it allows it to move. And if it does, you know, kick out, it's not going to do it quickly.
Okay.
So, you know, it's,
Safety.
it's just safe. So now we also screwed up at the top, you see it? So we screwed it into the beam,
Oh, yeah.
so that way the top can't kick out. I put four or five screws in it, and I also have one screw right here.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, this is gonna hold it to it, but just one screw, obviously it's gonna pivot.
Okay.
So,
Whoa.
what's the matter?
Nothing's the matter.
Okay, so that's all we're looking for.
Wow.
That's it.
You see, it came to the left and everything when you jacked it.
Yeah, no, everything moved up. So, yeah, you took the pressure right off this. This is actually loose right now. Look.
Yeah, I see it.
So, yeah, come right in here with the camera. And see how loose this is coming on this side? So, that's it. That's what we jacked up the house. So, we straightened things out a lot. Just by taking that little bit off, we will now have the weight. And you asked the question earlier today, will that take the bounce out of the house?
Yeah.
Yes, it will, because it's putting all of this weight onto a new wall.
I get it. Sweet. Northeast Contracting to the rescue. $75% off our next order from National Lumber. Poor guy right here. You should be ashamed of yourself, Evan.
See the difference about trucks? That's why I hate your truck on this. I never tried for it. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of fun around here, so.